Hi, I'm Corinne, an artist from Bucks County, Pennsylvania. Thanks for taking a look at my work. Here is my fair booth, and as you can see, I make art with many different mediums, from ceramic pottery and sculptures, to paintings, prints, and jewelry. I grew up playing as a woodland fairy in 5 miles of forest behind my parents' home, making friends with the trees, and then returning to spend nights lost in other fantasy worlds of anime and video games. Eventually, I built a world of my own called Sorhain, and filled it with all sorts of characters, creatures, as well as my 4 personal archetypes: the lion, the lady, leaves, and lanterns. I first learned to draw and paint, and fell in love with creating my own images. Then I learned to work with clay, making pottery and sculptures, and fell in love with that too. From a practical outlook, I wanted to learn 3D modeling and printing, which I also found pretty addicting in the end. Still, no matter which medium I'm working with, my goal is still the same: to explore nature, mythology, and play with light and shadow. I just love creating fantasy art, and I hope to bring some of my passion and inspirations to everyone who sees it. Thanks for visiting, and I hope you will choose to follow along with my artistic adventures. If you like my work, please follow the links to my website for more info. My art is for sale, and I'll keep making more, so check back for updates. Thanks! If you want to keep watching, I've captured a few clips of my process for throwing pottery and sketching too. Thanks for joining us at Lady Catherine's Virtual Renaissance Fair. In this video, I'm throwing on my wheel in a small and cramped shed, but I also go to Earth Center Pottery at Tyler State Park. I make pots in both places, but I only can glaze and fire my work at the park for now. Here I'm centering the clay. It's important to make sure that your clay is centered so the pot doesn't get all wonky as you're throwing it. This is called wheel wedging, where you kind of push the clay all the way up and then push it back down to get it centered. The goal of this is to get out any extra air bubbles that might be hiding in there. Next is opening the clay. First I poke a hole in the center and make sure I push all the way down to how deep I want this mug to be. And I check the depths. once I open the clay, I use a little trick to push the clay back in and re-stabilize it. Next comes pulling. I push the clay out from the inside just a little bit, and then I pull up a ring from the outside all the way to the top. I always compress the lip too and stabilize the top. Time for another pull. Here I'm adding some shape. I like to really push my clay and get it as thin as possible, but oops, it's got a little bit of a twist in it here. Shh, don't tell anyone. A wooden tool will fix that right up. Or at least so I thought. Well, maybe we can hide that wobble with a handle. And I finish up the bottom by trimming away any extra clay, then we wire it off. So here's the glazing studio at Earth Center Pottery. They have a lot of glazes to choose from and wonderful kilns to fire our work in. It's a huge space, and I'm super grateful that I get to spend some time there. Also, I try and sketch almost every day to keep learning and improving. Here I'm designing some bookmark ideas for my 4 favorite symbols. It's just the first draft of these, so I hope you'll wait and see the finished versions. Thanks for watching all the way to the end. If you like my work, please follow the links to my website for more info. All my art is for sale, and I'll keep making more, so check back for updates. You're the best. Thanks again.